Welcome back to Follow We Will Legends podcast, featuring the greatest ever Rangers legends as our guests. It's Thursday evening with Stan Gordon and myself, Lynsey Glen, and as normal, we've got lots to discuss tonight. Before we get started, as usual, it's only right that we thank our amazing sponsors who are on board supporting the podcast. And please do check out their social media pages and websites for information on supporting like-minded people's businesses first and foremost. We have Millencroft Construction, Athol Solutions, the Gallant Pioneer in Blackpool, the Bluebell Bar in Tenerife, Avia Signs, EK Blinds and Shutters, Ayrshire Tree Surgeons, Mac Network Devices, Big Tam's Ices, Gart Craig Inn, Ernock Builders, Clearwater, Impact Signs, Cube Glass and Nith Valley Home Improvements. Thanks very much for your support on the podcast this season. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our show, or if you're on any other social media platform, remember to like, comment and share. Please get your questions in early for our special guest this evening. We welcome onto the podcast Rangers legend. He's blue, he's white, he's dynamite, Mr. Ian Durrant. Hi Ian, how are you doing?
I'll be it. Ended an interview with the amount of sponsorship.
That's it, I know. And also joining us this evening as well, we have Mr. Ian Martin from Athol Solutions. Good evening. How are you doing, Ian?
Thank you very much.
Little Ian, big Ian.
Big Ian, I know. It's like the big friendly giant next to you.
My seat's broke. I can't adjust my seat.
Well, guys, welcome to the show. Ian, it's the second time we've had you on. Brilliant to get you back on. We got a great response the last time. Same with yourself, Ian. Good to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Co-winning Rangers, you're at now, wee man. How are you doing?
Well, I always hoped, Stan, I did my career at Rangers, but I didn't envisage it was going to be co-winning Rangers. It's going okay. I mean, I'm helping out with the recruitment, getting players in with a wee bit of a sticky start, but we're starting to get there with a few injuries pre-season. So the boys are on the up and we'll get a few players back fit. So hopefully onwards and upwards.
You've won your last couple of games, didn't you? You drew
no,
a couple
we
at the start.
We lost the last one there, but we win and a draw up until then. So it was going okay. It's a sticky division. It's a tough division to get into now. Some tasty games. Maybe going to St Rock's for a game.
We'll be going there.
They'll get the Blantyre, your boys, and obviously then there's local derby against Kilburn. A couple of wee tasty ties. So
looking forward to he's coming to Blantyre.
It will be a good laugh that day.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, Ian, bad start to the season. Kilmarnock away. What do you think?
Kilmarnock have an excellent start. And obviously they beat Rangers, and then they've had a draw at Tynecastle, and then obviously putting Celtic at the cup. Everybody gets on about the pitch, Lynsey. It's the same for both teams. I just think on the day Kilmarnock were better than us. Again, now the manager was trying to get players in, try to get players fit. Obviously, for the games coming up, there's important games, albeit the European game. But it was a bad start. But we picked up the next home game, and I really now eye-catching. I thought the pride back in the team against now a very, very, very good PSV team, and I thought they'd done really well. They were really solid, and they showed PSV on the counter attack they can be as good as PSV any day.
Aye, definitely.
Aye. Ian, maybe yourself, what did you think of Kilmarnock?
Kilmarnock game, I just thought if the new players didn't know what it was about, they did after that game. We had lost a few of the Scottish players, Scotty Arfield, McGregor, knew what it was about. I just hope that we've not totally lost our Scottish identity, We need players in about the club that actually know what it's all about.
A couple of weeks ago, we Fergie said the same. We've not really got anybody in the dressing room, or even your Jimmy Bell there. We mentioned Jimmy Bell 2 weeks ago there. How good it was to have him in there and let everybody know new players come in what the club is all about. But we don't seem to have that now.
It's a massive part. Obviously, you've got the gaffer there, John Gregg. Now, I think he's about match days at home games. I think so. Yeah, I think he's about the dressing room area. And the one I can relate to is probably Ryan Jack, Tav, Ghost. Now they've been there, so they've been round the block, so they should know.
They should know what it's about.
Exactly, and it's getting the players. But I seen Campbell's interview. Now he's really taken to it. Now, obviously, the way the fans are. If you can't know the atmosphere at the European game on it, I'm sure that the players will know what it's all about now.
Oh, definitely. Ian, you were in Geneva as well last week, weren't you?
Yeah.
How was that?
you know, the trip's always spoiled by the football, but no, it was great. We flew into Lyon and then travelled down, and listen, we got the result that we wanted to get through. That's the main thing. We're trying to bed a lot of new players in. We're trying to work on a lot of these players might not have played the system before, you know. So, the results. Just that's what mattered.
I get a fright of my life in the hotel. It was £18 a pint. That's what it was. £18 a pint.
Aye, but we stayed in France.
Definitely, I was there. We actually found a pub. It was £9 when we were all chuffed.
That's not bad. Is that for a half pint?
£9. Honestly, I'm not kidding. But it's great when you go to the well, I went to Rangers and all of the boys there. They were always fighting to buy a drink before you go up, and I quite like that.
Stand at the back.
We actually, I don't know if you went yourself or no, but in the party, the big Reformation thing with John Knox and Prince William and all that was brilliant, by the way. Like the Reformation War, and we all got a photo to it. And I could imagine all the Swiss going through that part and saying, "What's all the Rangers fans going to this?" Reformation thing, they probably not understand the was with Rangers and the Reformation and all that, you know, but it was brilliant. Every time you did Rangers fans doing for 40s all the time.
It was a bit weird when we came out after we had got the result and we had to walk through their fans, and obviously they stick out like a sore thumb, so they're like, why is there this fat, specky ginger 20-stone guy with a Rangers tap just boldly walking through us, you know?
We were in there end. That was even worse.
No, you were at the
we were in there end. Yeah. But to be fair, it was one of the kind of more friendly.
No, they were great after the game, weren't they?
Aye.
Showed you them up, standing up, clapping.
And then there were 2 or 3 sitting at us, and they were saying, "You're number 13 with Toby Cantwell, 2 legs, what a player he is." But we found it hard against him and all him in a way, didn't we? We never go easy. I mean, we could have put it to bed the first game.
It's a bit. It should have been, but you've got to realise that they're up and running their season, so they're about 5 or 6 games ahead of Rangers. We are similar with PSV in terms of the games we played pre-season and league games, so that's a similar game. Albeit they've spent a few bob on some players. I've seen now a couple of £10 million players. Plus, I've got Tillman, who's rated it now like 15 million now. So I know, but that's what you get now. He's a Bayern Munich player, and we were unlucky not to get him, I think, on loan again.
Would you have took him?
I would have took him, yeah. I thought he brought something to us. Well, when you see the way Campbell's playing, he's similar to Campbell. Campbell has now.
He's done something in the final third.
Well, he's got you on the edge of the seats now. Obviously, you don't know. He picks up bookings. He's involved in everything now. He's a fantastic football player. Sees quick things now. He's passed the Dessers on it after the second goal from Matondo. Another one I've not mentioned now. He's come right out the blocks again. Matondo. He's been fantastic. I think Michael Bean's got a wee tickle out of him, and what a finish it was. And he was unlucky. That'd have been goal of the century. His volley.
Oh, that was amazing.
And so again, he's come up and he's had a magnificent pre-season, and he's shown what he's worth.
Aye, well,
because he was a £10 million player when he went.
Aye.
Now,
to be fair, I'd have let him go at the start of the season.
Aye,
because his performances before there, it just didn't impress me at all. No. Really,
I think he struggled last year. He come to terms, when you're not getting game time, you're always going to struggle.
It was the consistency for me. Sometimes he was so, absolutely brilliant. Then other times he was just, you were like, get him off. But it wasn't consistent enough for me.
But if you look at the whole season last year, he never had a lot of game time. And it's hard when you're bringing in a player and now also you're chasing Celtic and try to stop them winning the league. It's now the manager maybe on a settled team, and the fringe players have got to, when they get a chance, they've got to make good use of it.
What about the new players we've brought in? Who's caught your eye out the signings? And you've got to say Butland, definitely, yeah.
Oh, he's got great pace.
He's definitely caught my eye.
He's a keeper.
He's got a presence.
A great keeper. Some of the saves against Servette, he was outstanding.
Yeah,
he was outstanding. So you know,
you're sort of on. He kept Rangers in the game first.
He made some saves, didn't he? Some saves.
I would say him, and I don't know, boys. Cifuentes, I didn't think he was great the other night there, but a couple of games before that, it looks as if he's got something about him. Up front, I think maybe that was Desser's best game the other night there.
The
but
problem,
still no clicking yet.
Yeah,
maybe
he's still a wee bit in terms of fitness levels, I think. But he's involved in the two goals, and he's passed to Matondo for the second goal.
Oh, that was
Fantastic ball. Lammers, I think Lammers has done well, albeit now he's not had a lot of game time in the last few weeks. And Danilo, Danilo comes with great pedigree, so I'm sure that'll click in right away.
6 million in. We paid 6 million for him, so you want to see him playing every week, really, aren't you?
Yeah, hopefully. Now you've seen the teams that were courting him during now the summer there, so we were lucky enough to get him, and hopefully now he can kick on.
Aye, maybe yourself.
I don't think that they're going to be the only ones. I do think that there's still room for a lot of players to go out the door and maybe a few to come in. I was fortunate enough to speak to the chairman during the week there, and there will still be stuff to happen. It's
You think so?
It's not the end of the transfer window yet.
A week left, haven't we?
Yeah.
There's about a week left. Aye.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think we're bringing more in? Do you think so?
I think so. I think defensively, we brought in Balogun, and again we spoke about it earlier in the week, Stan, where I had said, I've got a slight issue. I'm a wee bit biased in the fact that I go and watch a lot of the reserve games, and the problem I've got is these guys are not really getting a chance. They get a chance in the pre-season games, and I know they're so far away for the first team, and we've got to win trophies and all that, right? But some of these boys are good enough that they could be thrown in. They could be thrown in, So is it all about spending money? Is it looking further afield to get these free transfers? And then it's blatantly obvious that Michael Beale plays a specific way. So I'm still not sure that what he's done is he's actually went and looked at these players and went, that guy's going to fit there. For example, the boy Sima. Boy Sima never played like that for Slavia Prague against us. So what is it that he's seen in these players that he's went, right, okay, I'm going to play him wide there front three? Or Danilo the other week here, I think it was against Kilmarnock, and he plays him wide. No. And the guy's scoring goals even in pre-season for Feyenoord. So you've got to ask yourself, what is it he sees in him that he thinks, I'm not going to play him, I'm going to play him, and it's all this interchangeable, and he can come into the middle and then he'll go out wide, and then you get what I mean?
I'm hoping maybe he was just trying different things. Do you know what I mean? And then at the end,
he tried a few things the other night, which I thought had an effect on Rashkin. Now he likes to be the centre, and he showed against Servette away second half. Absolutely fantastic. His energy levels. And then the other night he looked a bit subdued, played left of the three, obviously Ryan and Campbell having the free row, and he looked a bit subdued the other night against PSV. And I said, now I thought he brought the impetus and the energy levels to Servette, which they couldn't handle in the second half.
No, I agree. He was outstanding. That's probably the best I've seen him asking it. And he was looking for he was an open for the ball all the time.
He was everywhere. He was picking up all those balls. He was creating passes. Campbell was taking up great space in the holes. And then it got us further up the park. The first half, we were sort of camped in. Totally. And we're giving the ball away a lot. And then second half, now, I just thought Raskin, being such a young age, I think he's 22, 23, I think, but he took a game in the scruff of the neck and just went bump, and we started our energy levels. And we looked really, really good against Servette second half.
I thought in the first half, Ian, that their number 8 in midfield was dominating everything, and the midfield was getting overrun at times until he made the change, the switch tactically, and Raskin dominated the game in the second half.
You're spot on, because I think we get a wee fright because the one that we try to play offside now on the centre circle, and the boy gets in. If he squares the ball, we're 2-0 down and we're right up against it. And that sort of gave us a wee joke, because just after that, Danilo had a great chance and it sort of spurred us on. But I just thought second half, Raskin went off up a gear and Servette couldn't handle it.
Yeah, but that brings its own problems, because do we honestly think we're going to keep him? I know the model.
You can get a couple of good.
I remember the same thing we said about Gascoigne Loud and other players. Now the players we brought, the love affair they get for the club.
Yeah,
and when you start winning things, you start becoming now the most important players in the team. They thrive off that. And now, I'm not going to say on here that we're not a selling team. Of course we are. Every team out with now the top 6 in Europe are selling teams. But I think now, if we start going on a wee run and start winning trophies, I think the players will love it. You can see the way Campbell reacted to the adulations getting off the fans.
Could I ask you something, right? Just your personal opinion. Do you think that Raskin and somebody like Lewis Ferguson would have played well together? I don't understand why. I understand Aberdeen might not have wanted to sell him to us, but I don't understand why that Scottish identity. I thought he was tailor-made for our club.
So honestly, I've spoke with Derek many a time, and I thought he was tailor-made for Rangers. Now, what Lewis brings, all now physical. He's got now physical presence about him, but he's a great football player, and he scores goals. And for a midfielder, you're crying out for a midfielder to get. You know, at Aberdeen, I think he was in double figures for 2 years in a row. Penalties, but he's still putting the ball away, and I thought he'd been tailor-made. And he'd been a great age. Lewis is 22, Raskin 22, Campbell 24, 25.
24.
Now,
Right.
Danilo, Dessers, Lamar, great legs. And now you've got a bit of experience at the back with Butland, Golson and Tav. And now what you do when you get a wee bit older, now you start using these tools you've got. Now that young boys running about, getting things. And the great thing about me, Lewis, is Rangers daft. And that's now, are you talking about the identity of the club? He'd have loved it. Who's to say it might not happen, but the way he's playing in Italy, they might be out of price range.
That's
he is
what
now.
he is. He's
With Derek on 2 weeks ago, we spoke about it, and he'd have jumped to Rangers.
Yeah.
Rangers daft, and we mentioned that.
Taunton would have drove him. He'd have went to Bologna and got him back.
Ian, we rested a few players on Saturday.
See, this you need to say Ian, Big Ian, or Wee Ian.
Wee Ian and Big Ian. We did rest players on Saturday v Morton, right? Do you think that was the right thing for the manager to do?
Of course. Now, the manager, again, now, it's all be said and done now. He had to get some game time in. And no disrespect to Morton, but it's probably the ideal opportunity. Now, with such a high-profile game coming against PSV, and I thought, now, they went about their business. You can see the new players were coming in, and it was probably a bit strange, as Ian said, now, the formation, but it's getting game time, getting minutes in the legs. And then playing in front of a full house as well at Ibrox. It's good for the players to play and see the sort of atmosphere they're going to have to get used to in terms of playing for Rangers.
Aye. I mean, I was looking for big performances after some of the ones that get a chance. It didn't happen.
It's always the hardest thing, and I've been there now. Wore a t-shirt now. You've got such a big game coming up. There is a now. I'm not saying they're holding back, but there is a bit of self-doubt where you want to know. You do want to play against PSV, and you're hoping. Well, I wouldn't say hoping you're going to beat Morton, but we should have been beaten Morton comprehensively. Morton made a game of it, and it made it stuffy, made it hard. Now Morton played the way Morton play. Now they stopped the game as much as they can, and Rangers never get their fluency. But again, I was just pleased that players got game time, and that was the main thing: getting game time and winning the game. You know what happened the next day? Celtic out, so it gives you an opportunity. Now with the draw, we got another home draw, so it gives you an opportunity going.
And we spoke about it here with Kilmarnock, right? And that was a thing I was going to mention. The first thing Brendan Rodgers mentioned was the pitch. And we all know that, right, with the pitch. But can the SFA do anything to make them change that pitch? Because every team that goes there is...
I know, but it's FIFA approved. So if it's FIFA approved, then they can do it. I mean, when I was at Kilmarnock, it was probably the best pitch. Playing surface and
that's right,
Great Britain at the time. But again, now they've got an advantage of making revenue out this AstroTurf. And as I said, if you use that as an excuse and you're going to go as an excuse, we went there before and won. We went to Livingston and won. And so it's not really alien.
And we've got a couple of pitches like that at Murray Park, haven't we?
The foreign boys. Now, Danilo, there's where he comes from, the Dutch league, there's a few teams there that play AstroTurf, or the field turf, whatever you call it. And I'm sure, but it's not an alien surface to all the players. As I said, come winter time, Rangers have often trained indoors, but they've got an unbelievable field turf.
Crank pitch, aye.
And obviously they've got the one at Murray Park as well.
But do you not think they should do that? Do you not think maybe, see when they're coming up, I don't know if they dare, no, I might be wrong here, but you're playing Kilmarnock. Should they not use the park inside to get used to playing on that surface before they go? Did they not do that, Ian?
I've never been at pre-match before they play Kilmarnock, so I wouldn't know what previous managers Michael Beale do before the games. If they're playing
you were there, but
they were all grass when we played.
Did you know have the inside bit?
We had the inside bit, but they used the Ashby all the time now because of the weather. So we were used to that, but the first team have an undersaw heated pitch, and a pitch is now available for 12 months of the year.
I think maybe it'd been a good idea. I don't know. I might be wrong. They maybe do it, but I think a good idea to get them playing inside on that AstroTurf before you go to Kilmarnock and places at Livingston to get them.
They do.
To get them.
They do, but I see with the Kilmarnock game, Stan, I think we were bullied. I think in the game we were bullied. And when we played against Livingston the following week, who were all also a big team, apart from wee Holty, we weren't. So in the first 5 minutes, I think somebody laid one on the boy Lammers or something like that. He never kicked a ball after that. I think it really was a culture shock, where it was like, okay, it's easier to pass the ball back than what it is to pass the ball forward. And we were bullied.
Aye.
I think, but the decent thing was, I think they learnt for it. And when we went to Kilmarnock's tight as well, and when we played against Livingston, we weren't bullied. We were, Raskins and Cantwell, you spoke about earlier on.
That was one of the biggest surprises for me. But was the omission of Cantwell against Kilmarnock? Now, the energy levels he brings to the team, and I was actually surprised he was on the bench that day.
I think there's more behind that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean,
now I know certain players, if they play in the AstroTurf now, they'll maybe miss games for a few weeks after that now due to the wear and tear of the pitches and obviously the wear and tear of some of their joints.
I think we need to give all credit to Kilmarnock as well,
Of course,
definitely, especially I think Derek McInnes has got them off to a flying start.
Fantastic.
I think they're doing really
And
well.
as I said, now Ian's spot on. I think now Kilmarnock with a better team. Now sometimes you hold your hands up and say, okay, we were beat. We never created anything.
That's
And
it.
now Kilmarnock, albeit now from a throw-in, they took advantage of now Rangers switching off.
Yep.
yeah, and we've done that. We're guilty of that.
Many times.
And it should be drummed into the players that play to the whistle.
Oh.
And I know it's easy enough. See putting your hand up and then getting up and then they're going like that. And look at Celtic last season. Many times we get caught
Switching off.
Yeah,
Switching
switching off
off
and
it.
throw-ins.
That should be drummed into them, not to switch off.
Especially a defence.
Aye.
Defence switch
As
off.
always, they should always sense danger no matter what. If the ball's out of play, get regrouped, get back
Aye.
into a solid formation.
Aye. We've got a few things on the screen here. Lee Edgar, he said we need a centre half to cover Ben Davies, as apparently he's been told to find another club. We're also lacking width as we need a winger.
I think Ian highlighted. I think the way Michael plays, he plays a tight triangle, so that he's looking for his fullbacks, Barisic and Tab, obviously, to get down the wider areas and supply the ammunition. But I think Matondo, when he comes on, plays that wide role very well, and I've been really impressed with him, as I said earlier in pre-season. So he might be the wide man to start. But you could always look. Now we've always looked. We've been used to having Ryan Kent,
Aye.
so some of that ilk, but they come with a price. And
They're talking about Lingard. His name's getting mentioned quite a lot now.
he was on some wage at Forest.
Well, see the thing is with guys like that, it's like they type of players have had their career, isn't they?
I know, but
And are they going to spark coming
excuse
to Rangers?
Bagners, but if we get anybody in the use, now we talk about we Rice, don't we?
The boy Bailey Rice.
Yeah.
But the boy Bailey Rice is 16. He looks confident on the ball. He can pick a pass. Is he ready to go straight into
I think
Champions League games? No, but you know, against Morton, it's what we spoke about there, about these boys getting a chance. You know, Leon King was good enough for the Champions League last year. He's not good enough to play against Morton. If you look at last season, for instance, I think
thought he was injured. You know that? Ian? Sorry, last time I seen he was in a boot.
No, he's fit. He played on was it Tuesday?
I heard you saying that. I actually thought he was injured for European games.
And it was like last season, I remember I had walked into Hampden and there he was standing with his suit on. And we had no centre halves on the bench. And I'm like, if you can play in the Champions League, son, surely to Christ, you're entitled to have a seat on the bench at least when we've got no centre halves. It's about giving, see if we don't give some of the youth a chance.
Of course.
What's the point?
No.
What is the point?
Because you've got to have that identity. I was lucky enough as a youngster now, and you've got the identity with the fans. Now you grow up now, a blue nose, and you want to see these boys. You want to see your own coming through. And it's funny you should talk about that. Now you're talking about centre halves. I thought one of the best men in the last 2 games for Kilmarnock's been Big Lewis Mayo,
Yeah.
who subsequently we sold to Kilmarnock from the youth.
Yep, he was.
Big Mayo's been
Big
Mayo's been out. He was outstanding against Rangers and Celtic, and it just shows you sometimes now. And he's good enough to play with Kilmarnock. He's only a kid,
and he's a standout.
I know it's a different scenario from playing for Kilmarnock, from Rangers, but it's still playing against a great calibre teams now, like Rangers and Celtic and Hearts, and he's 3 clean sheets.
Well, I'll ask you a question. And when was the last time we had a striker come through the youths?
I'll go fleetingly Ryan Hardy.
I would go further back. I would either say it's either John Spencer or Robert Fleck.
Well, that time you Spencer McSwiggan, and Gary unfortunately broke his leg, and before that was Fleck. Well, we all came through. Gareth Fleck, Derek, myself, Shuey Burns, and unfortunately Big Scud came through. He came through a wee bit later, and a young boy, Dave McFarlane, sadly not with us. And we were lucky enough, that because of the refurbishment of the stadium, and that the reason that's why we had to play, because the club had no money to spend in players, and there was no youth league at that time. It was just we played these youth games, and you Joe Mason and Stan Anderson, and they made you work, but they also taught you how to prepare yourself to play in front of now Rangers fans, and it's not easy now being now the local kids and coming through the ranks. I mean, now because at that time we weren't wearing anything, and you're trying to break into the team, but fortunately enough we hit the ground running. But I'm all for it. I'd love to see some of the kids just to play in the team and get that bit of identity now with having Scottish boys in the team.
Johnny Parton's asking, does Ian rate our current midfield options?
I think he's overloaded in there. In fact, now
Not put it up. Hold on.
when you look at what you've got Campbell playing the whole. He can pick out several positions. You've got Raskin, Jack, Lindstrom, Lammers can play. He can play wider. Matondo. He's got an abundance in there. I think Ian touched on. I think we're short at the defence, but you don't know what's in the manager's thought process. Does he want to go for that other Cavalier player, maybe a wider player, to try and get us further forward? Again, we're overloaded in there, I think, as well. We've got another good lineup if he wants to play. I would always love to see Rangers at home play 2 up front, or a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2. Always have 2 centre forwards playing at Ibrox. I know it's difficult when you're away from home. You're maybe going to Parkhead or Pittodrie, and that we have maybe overload an extra midfielder, but I think we've always got room for 2 forwards at home. And
he's even talking about 3 centre halves, playing with 3 at the back. Yeah. Some of the games, isn't he, at Ibrox?
Well, I think the way whatever side the ball's on, you've got Tav and Barisic, you're always away anyway. So you're basically now you're 2 centre halves with your screener. So basically there's a 3, and they've got the freedom to go. Ben Davis, I seen him on the bench all night, but I think there is talk of him going.
Yeah, I think they are into that.
I think he's Ipswich were the last club that were in for him, I think. But I don't know with Ben Davis. I don't know that it's worked out. I think maybe injuries as well, and I think with Balogun, he's brought Balogun back because he trusts him, but he is 35.
Exactly.
You know, and then
I remember certain Dave Weir at 37 big.
There's a difference between Balogun and David.
I know, but Big David, I went for a couple of months, the last 3 months to help us. Ended up staying about 4 years.
see, to be fair, the new. I would actually be trying to pick Davy Weir's brain, because am I not right in saying he's at Brighton now?
I
think they're finding players down there.
No, I think his job down there is to go and see the players at certain loans.
No, I think he's moved up.
Is he?
He's top notch now in terms of now.
I'll tell you, he's a great lad, but honestly, I done a gig with him and Halleck Ray. It was his first one ever doing a Q&A in Jersey, and I got him up after Halleck. How good was that to win the league that year? And I gave him the mic, and he goes, brilliant. Won it with the right one. You won the cup that day, and you were captain. How good was it to win the cup, Magic Stand? And I'm like, any chance?
He's a man of few words.
You're going to give us a wee chance.
He's a man of few words, but he's very effective when he speaks. He's a great boy, but he wasn't a shouting on baller, David, but when he had to make his point of view, he came across well.
But
again, he was good captain.
Fantastic.
But again, he was another one that coached like Danny Wilson through games. So we need an experienced centre half along with somebody that is maybe up and coming, because Davy Weir took Danny Wilson to a whole different level. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, Big Goffy done it with Presley, didn't he? And aye.
Elvis. Big
didn't he?
But then,
Craig Moore to a certain extent.
he took Big Moore under his wing, but you'd also had Bomber, and you'd influential people in the dressing room at that time who helped the kids coming through.
Aye. I mean,
we just helped him get into the discos, that was all.
I couldn't have a passion for Vicky's.
You're not made it the first team till you get to Vicky's.
Once you's all left, did they no burn it down?
Oh no, that was it. Stopped, didn't it? That was it. Oh no, at the Cotton Club, emptied.
You get any more questions?
Bim skimming wee Durrant, best Rangers player ever.
I'm not going to disagree with her, pal.
Right, Bim, we'll get you that pint next week for doing that. Thanks for that. There's young Danny Gorham there. Evening, guys. Hope you're well.
Danny, how is he? How's married life, son? Good.
He's not been allowed out since.
Once that gold ring goes on, that's that.
Ian Stan was telling me that you paid a visit to my hometown at the weekend there.
I was in the Coatbridge. It was lovely. Alfie Connor and his late wife. And a great turnout for some of the Barca Bears. Great stories.
Charity night, wasn't it, for
it was
M&D?
Great. I think Stan said they raised about 6,000. 6,000. And a great turnout in Coatbridge. Lovely wee pub, Carson. But again, now listen, I could listen to wee Doddy, Bud and Steenie, Dave Smith. And I thought wee Bobby Tate was sensational. And it was a great night, honestly. Great company. And it was a great night. And apart from Big Stan, now Brent one of the raffle prizes, but we're not going about that, right?
But it was a good night, and to raise £6,000 for motor neurons,
that's fabulous,
especially in Coatbridge.
I was a bit sceptical as well.
I know, see, when I tell people where I'm from, they don't believe me half the time.
There's a Rangers bar in Coatbridge.
See, when I wrote my script, I put one in, and then I said, I better know, right? I was going to tell a story about when we were going to Seville. I was sitting in the pub, and the boy goes, "You going to Seville, Stan?" I goes, "I'm going to fly over with Rangers." "Oh, brilliant. Who's about players goes there and all that?" I said, "Well, Rangers are taking the 72 team here." I said, "They're paying for their flights and their hotel." And all. He goes, "Oh, that's brilliant. Take them over to Seville for the hotel." I said, "Aye." He goes, "That's magic." He goes, "What players is going?" I said, "I know Bud and Steenie's going." I said, "I know Derek Johnson's going." I said, "I know Dave Smith's going, Peter McCloy." And one of the boys went, "What about Alfie Conn? Is she going?" And the boy said, "No, she's already been to Seville." I said, "I better not tell her." End up going off with.
I would have done like lead balloon.
Way back, just digressing quickly. When I was 16, I had said to my mum and dad, "I'm going to watch Rangers. I'm going away." So away back then, used to get the buses in the evening times. So there's a bus for Coatbridge, Whifflet Loyal.
They're still going.
It's going to Prague. Didn't know anybody. Went away across the Coatbridge. Says, "I'll pay my dues." I said to my dad, "Take me back." So it was the day before mobile phones. 4 days we were away, never contacted them. Big Andy, God rest his soul, decided to wave at somebody as they were crossing the bar. We get beat 1-0, but that was it. You couldn't give your money away. But Coatbridge, so there was a guy called Andy Maxwell.
Big Andy.
Andy used to run it, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll look after your boy." I think we had made it to Hamilton. And he was steaming.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Fraser Briggs, he's put, "Well done, Ian Martin. Keep it up." There you go. You're getting a wee compliment there.
My cousin, my cousin.
There's one there, Lynsey. Great wee night in
Drumlocker. Well, that's Shaz and Jimmy Reid for down in Stranraer, down at my caravan site. So great. We need to get a wee night down at Drumlocker. He's saying with Stan. What do you think, Lynsey?
You can take him down, Lynsey.
Honestly, it was dead funny because my mum and dad and my uncle's up for Bournemouth, and they'd been out into the Royal Bar down in Stranraer. So Shaz and Jimmy have been watching the podcast Stan for we started this, right?
Yeah.
And I only met them through lockdown on Facebook and stuff, right? So my mum and that was in, and my mum was talking to this guy because it's the Rangers club, and he was telling her they've got like 87 or 97 members now for Stranraer in this Rangers club and whatever. And he says to my mum, where is it you're staying? And she says, "Oh, Drumlocker Holiday Park. That's where we kind of live now." oh, you'll know my good friend Lynsey Glen. And she went, that's my daughter. So that's us, they're pals now with my mum and my dad down there. And
All I remember is
we make new friends, that's it.
That's what it's all
I
about.
see them regular in Belfast.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Honestly.
the boys are.
I think they were friendly with Big Scott as well. back in the day.
It's only they just jump
Honestly,
the ferry fee.
here's me thing, you'd have struggled to make friends after working with him, I'm telling you.
It's good to see you watching it, Shaz and Jimmy Reid.
Well done, Shaz. Jimmy.
There we go. Here we go. Anything else up?
No, you were wanting to thingy this.
I just want to give a mention a couple of our new sponsors. Craig at the Bluebell Bar in Tenerife.
Any sponsors you got? Honestly, I roll them on it. You can soon
Yeah.
honestly.
I'll not be able to read them out at some soon.
Lindsay was short of breath. That was the biggest introduction ever.
I love it, Ian. I love it.
Welcome to the podcast. I'd like to thank our sponsors and good night.
No, well, they like to say with Craig getting involved there with the Bluebell. It's great, and all the Rangers fans should go and support these wee boozers when they go on holiday.
The question is, you've just got a flat across where you get free baby, right?
I didn't want to mention that, but he's going to have a wee Rangers gig and get some of the players there. Going on discussions with him and how to do that, but he's a cranking guy, and it's a great wee boozer.
You're on standstills.
No.
Right, him and Ricky, just don't get near him, right? Honestly.
I've not been brave.
What's that,
What
honestly?
was the other one there I was going to mention?
Stuart Leach, wasn't it?
Stuart Leach, Air 3 Surgeons, sits beside me in the Thornton Suite, and I've got him
Good
on
guy.
board as a sponsor. We'll get him onto the.
And we've got one of our good Nith Valley loyal friends on board as well. Nith Valley Home
Billy.
Improvements, Billy
I
McLeod.
think he played the same time.
He
as
did.
you, Billy
He
did.
used to play.
So
here,
he tells me
Partick
every
Thistle.
time I see
He
him.
was a kid as a youngster.
He's going to come on one of the shows. So he is. He's going to come on.
Good.
He's a good lad. He's good.
Right, Stan, what have you got coming up?
We got Craig next week, me and you.
Is it?
Well, no, next week, the 8th, innit? They got Craig,
That's
me
not
and you.
next week. Only stop throwing these wee grenades in every 2 minutes. Aye.
No, it's the 8th, innit?
8th.
The 8th, me,
Then Lisbon the next
and
day.
me, you and Dukey, and then me, you and Charlie, and
Oh,
the
well,
Saturday we're going to Lisbon.
Oh, well, Mr. Dead's turning up for a do.
Oh, so we'll need to keep wee Charlie sober for the first 8 hours, innit? At least.
Good luck
Is
with
it an
that.
early flight?
I hope no.
No, I hope not. Hope not.
What else have you got?
Got the aim, and then obviously Benidorm's
Benidorm.
only a couple of weeks away now.
I'm looking forward to that, right
Aye,
enough.
aye.
A
So
good one, fees.
I was on the.
I'm not working for a change.
Good.
I was on the phone to Wilma there the other day there, so everything's
That was Fred, all right?
everything's everything's looking good for it. So
Is that during the international break?
yeah,
Yes.
it's just September weekend, Dean. So it's a good one. So all the Thornton Sweet boys are all sponsoring it and getting on that. So
Fantastic.
Stands tours.
we're good.
Sweet.
We're good.
It will be
Few
good.
days.
It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you ever thought about taking the corporate side off a club, but maybe running a plane yourself? And,
Oh no.
He's tried, didn't you? He's tried. We're
Well,
not
I
getting
used
into
to-
that. We're not getting into
I
that.
used to get the players last season to come into the Thornton Suite and do the hospitality, but they've binned me. Well, they wouldn't pay the players right enough. If that was something to do with it.
Aye,
They
maybe.
phone them every day to try and get the players sorted. But
it was good to see Andy Gray. I think Paul Crawford had brought.
I
Andy
seen
Gray
Andy.
to
I've talked to him.
the game the other week. Yeah, that was.
He was
that
sitting with Mark.
Gordon's-
Mark Haley and Big
Gordon
DJ.
Smith.
Aye, and Gordon Smith, aye.
Aye.
But Big DJ gave himself a sore one after. I mean, I was telling you, he broke his nose and two big black
He
eyes.
dropped a 5 and tried to catch it away down.
Willie Black's put a wee mention up here. What's he put? Big Ian is a massive Rangers memorabilia collector. We were talking about that at the beginning of the show. What's your most prized possession?
I don't know because I know my missus is watching, so I'd rather not mention how much I spend. Or, you know, every programme's £4 now. That's what I'm saying. You know, I've got some nice stuff. Got some
Well,
nice
but
stuff, but it's a history. We actually went. There was 4 years, 5 years in fact. Went for the tour on Sunday in the museum.
Lovely,
just to go a bit. So just as it's stunning, you know, it's heartbreaking that we've lived through winning all these trophies, and there's a generation that's missing out on a lot.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
I know we need to get there. We need to get there. So at the end of the tour, there's a ticket, and I turn round and there's Callum Beattie, and he's on the phone to a certain individual. He's texting a certain guy to say, by the way, you're in my
I was in his dream team.
You were in his dream team, right? So I've noticed the ticket, I've noticed him, Callum Beattie behind me, and I've said, who the hell would pay to go and watch him? And he's come up, you're right, big man, you're right.
Is that what
you're
no way.
right, big man. I said, that boy's rotten, red rotten. He's like, no, you're right. Oh, by the way, I'm on the phone to me. Great guy, great laugh. Boy. Really down to earth, fantastic boy. But the tour,
I've met him.
But the museum was outstanding. So there is just now we're in talks with the club. We've had 2 meetings with the club about maybe hiring Edmondson House and having like a wee memorabilia fair type thing.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
That'd be great.
And giving away programs to the kids that are coming in and stuff like that. Try to bring another generation in.
My pal Tommy Hamilton has got an old turnstile from the Rangers in.
Fantastic.
And he's got it and he showed us it. And I've got did you see the UEFA Cup final?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually got the match ball.
And they say they've got it.
It's not. No, I've if you look at it now, I've got the match ball in the house, and I'm going to get that to the museum.
I've
got something I always wanted to get into them too for the goalie. I was actually wanting to get into. It's only sitting in my house.
But that's the thing that see the museum. They can add to it. They will add to it.
Of course they will.
But the thing about it is there is a lot of memorabilia out there. As I said, I bought a ticket for 1905 a fortnight ago, and Queen's Park. Believe it or not, it was a boy's testimonial. That's terrible. Nick Smith, who's in our Hall of Fame.
What sort of condition? Good condition.
Good condition. You know, and in case my wife's watching, I paid a tenner for it. It's a bargain, you know.
Paid a tenner, survived 2 World Wars. The
guy's in the bunker,
he's got the same fire in his pocket. Survived 2 World Wars. That was the one Big Derek tried to catch.
Don't
I hope DG's not watching us.
Unfortunately, Jimmy Bell had passed away. And there was a collection, some of the memorabilia that he had.
I heard that there. Who's sharing that?
There's a guy that we're pal of. It was a boy down in Sheffield, a guy called Richard Letson. He gave the money to the family, as far as I know, and he bought the collection. But the guy is a memorabilia dealer.
But people like that was telling me there was some of his stuff on sale at that thing on Sunday, the memorabilia thing on Sunday.
Aye, so Richard was up at it.
Was he?
Richard's one of the good guys. He, believe it or not, he's helped me and a lot of guys with our collection.
Right.
So, you know, there is some years that are anoraks.
No,
you know,
I'm not letting you in my garage. I've got hundreds of stuff.
What's the one with Andrew
Black?
What's that?
So Durrant, Andy Black Senior asking for him and Ian Martin. Legend, has Beale's formation changed much from his time under Gerrard?
So Keith Muirhead is the guy I go to the games with, and Andy Black is watching, and he's a sarcastic get. So what happened was when we were watching the pre-season games, I had said it's a bit samey, right?
Right.
So it's one of the ones. I've hung up the phone. Right, they're all sitting in the motor going, "What's that loony about? It's all samey. So that's what that's all about." He's talking about the formation.
I don't think it's changed. Obviously, two of them work together very successfully. And I think they had the same ideas. I don't think it's changed that much.
What about the one there with James Goodwin?
Who's
the best player the Durrant play with?
David Cooper.
Oh, that's an easy one.
That is an easy one, isn't it?
I played with some superstars. Now, you pinch yourself now. Graham Souness, Chizo, Loud-Up Gascoigne, Coisty, Butcher, Wilkins. But I just idolise David Cooper, and I get a chance to play with your hero.
Aye, he was definitely class, wasn't he?
Great players like Bomber.
Aye, different
Ian
class.
Ferguson, great characters. I hate picking out players, but obviously I pick out Coop, but I played in some great teams. Great teams.
And you,
And some great nights out.
yeah. You remember the night suit better?
I remember him there the day off of games.
Loudrup, is it Bo Anderson there?
Oh, him and Lovencrans,
Yeah.
the Danish, sorry.
I am going tomorrow night.
Is it tomorrow night?
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, good.
Aye, the
Loud up. I seen a picture of Loud up. He was on Instagram. He looks like he can still play.
Aye. He's a big smoothie, isn't he?
Oh, and Eric, obviously Eric, but remember for the 2 goals. Nice, quiet boy, but nice. Could catch pigeons, but he was lightning.
I think Gaza tortured him, didn't he? Peed in his
No,
leg
what
and-
happens? He was out of order, and obviously Lovencrans, he goes down again with the winning head on the cup final against Celtic.
He was
the
fast.
three
wasn't he?
the 3 Danish boys they tortured Celtic, didn't they? They were good lads.
Where's
Good.
that game? That night?
The Double Tree Hilton tomorrow night.
Oh, is it? Oh, good.
Aye,
Good.
aye, it's the 5 Stars event.
Oh no, I'm not there.
Change your subject.
Right, okay, move on.
Sub the table. It's the same as Ian. Ian played in the best game. If anybody ever asked me what the best game I ever seen was, I remember we played a wee team for France in a pre-season friendly called Marseille, and they absolutely tortured us in a friendly. I think they won 3-1.
3-1.
Big Mark scored, and then I remember turning around and saying to my dad all the years ago, "Oh Christ, can you imagine if we get them in Europe? They will absolutely slaughter us, by the way. We're going to get torn apart." So sure as fate, when Marseille comes out in the draw, we're all sitting going, oh no, what's going to happen? The wee man's playing up front, I don't know why. Right? But he's playing.
We were struggling, remember Coyce?
We were struggling.
Coyce
We
was
were
out,
struggling.
and I was up
Aye.
front with Big Mark, and
And then Mark gets suspended. I know, didn't he?
I was against Bruges.
Aye, but what happened was Mark was up, they move Durrant back into
Gary McSwiggan
midfield and they bring Gary McSwiggan on and his first touch air ball. I mean, in that game, if that game had went another 5 minutes,
Exactly.
we were beating them.
Aye.
We were beating them. And even, I was fortunate enough to be in France when Ian scored that goal at the Velodrome.
I was there.
And I mean, you've never hit a sweeter shot.
I
in
know,
your
but
life.
I should have actually hit one in the first half, and I tried to cut it back to Coisty, and I should have just hit it. I remember the last minute when Peter had a chance to put Gary McSwiggan through, but just took another touch. And by that time, McSwiggan was in full flow, and they'd stepped up, and nobody would have caught him. Up, it would have been, here in hindsight, if they'd beat Barthez 1v1, but I'd have fancied Swiggy, that was so close. But see the team we played pre-season, and they hammered us. They weren't a patch on the team we played in Europe. What a team that was.
Aye.
And it's amazing that obviously the corrupt chairman.
Was that your favourite season? Or do you think that was your
I
best season?
thought no, that was my best season after I got injured.
Yeah.
By a mile. Now I thought 84, 85, 86, now I was a Gallus wee guy. Now I thought everything was easy. And lo and behold, that's what happened. But I was playing regular, but that was my first really, because 91 when I come back, now they won the league against Aberdeen. And me and Coisty we actually get wheeled onto the bench. We weren't even fit. And with the Gafford no players, and I had done a pre-season. When I come back the season after, I get the pre-season, and I hit the ground running. It was great. But the Gaffer asked me to play a variety.
It was, we went to Servette. Me and him were at Servette game together, and the programme came out. And
you were surprised, weren't you?
I was. He's in the top goal scoring list, and he's isn't he?
Top appearances in the Champions League.
Appearances in the Champions League. I didn't know that.
But again, if you look at the tactics that you played then, compared to what they are now, even when we played in 2008, you kept beating we were the Rangers team were beaten with Davy Weir. We were grinding out results. So even like last year, where it was a wee bit more free flowing football, we were in Dortmund, and you're like, are we actually beating this mob?
Oh, we were great that night.
You know what I mean? Even Leipzig, you came away getting beat 1-0 and you're thinking, we're still in with a shout here.
See the run you're talking about when we beat Bremen and all that.
I couldn't believe that Bremen game.
We went to the final. Remember
Alan McGregor had 3 saves within 30 seconds. Were out of this.
See, honestly, he'll tell you, right? I don't actually think Walter took all that seriously. I don't think he ever thought we were going to get to a final. See the Bremen game? They had tickets for me, and I went to their hotel in the morning of the game to pick up the tickets. So he came down and then Coisty came down. And Coisty was honky with the bevy. They were sitting playing cares with Walter. Weren't you? Sitting bevying, right?
We were on the coaches staff.
They're in the coaching staff, right? So,
we had a couple of drinks now before
and they were
the
sitting
game.
playing
For
cares.
legal reasons.
Aye, no, we're picking the team.
So sitting there,
Sitting
sitting
in there, isn't he?
they were sitting playing cares. So Walter came down and goes like, right, on the bus, mind they take you, and you were going to walk in a park or something, and then back for a bit of lunch before the game. So we were sitting in the bus went away, honestly, and the elevator opened, and Davy Weir came out. He goes, "There's the team." I said, "They're away about 15. He's a captain. They left him." And I just don't think. I think maybe that's how we went through all the games.
I was at the Glen before, but I used to go early with Jimmy Bell.
And then, honestly,
But
I honestly think
even
that,
in the run up to that, so I remember us going to Zeta, I remember us going to Red Star, where it was just mental. It's always mental when you go across there.
well, tell me about
But
it.
even when we were in the Champions League before we got to that final, we beat Lyon 3-0 and you're sitting going,
and then they beat us 3-0.
aye, but you're sitting there and you're
Karim
going,
Benzema.
the hell are we beating? I remember they had, was it a guy called Jorginho,
Yeah,
and he
in the
had
middle
the
of the park.
crossbar, he had the post, he had, you know.
He was hitting the crossbar for by kicks.
Aye,
But
That
the
was-
tactics were so that we built on
defense.
a Scottish
I know.
basis, you know. Well, we were tight, we were hard to beat, you know. The team just now that got the run last year was kind of, well, if you score one, we're going to score two. That's just the
And
way
it's
it
better
is.
to watch that way.
I know.
Well,
when Walter was
I-
putting
I
a team
was-
out not to get beat.
I know. I always thought he wasn't want to win it when he played big boy up front in Panathinaikos. That's big boy. Big boy. They said to the gaffer, "You didn't want to go through it." He goes, "How are you talking? Listen, you played me up front."
See, when we played Panathinaikos away, I'm no grassing them in, but they were staying in, I think it was a Hilton, there was a nightclub up the top, so we were up with them.
Overlooking the Acropolis.
That's right, aye, and I think, was it Stelios' daughter or Stelios was there, and there was a stack in them, but that was a great night, couldn't believe it.
Ian, Sean Murray, big Ian, Sean Murray's saying, what season do you think is most memorable, Ian Martin?
Again, just what I said. See that growing up, the 92-93 season was just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. With the football, brilliant. The music, the dance, everything about that year was
Everything
really.
just clicked at you.
It just clicked. It just clicked. But the football,
as good as I've seen.
the football you were going. I mean, there was times, as Durrant said, where McCoist was injured. Big Haley's up front himself. Scott Nisbet scoring, bouncing off divots and getting in. And it was just.
I think I might be wrong, but I think Coisty and Big Mark only played about 2 of the games together because Mark get suspended and Coisty get injured, and it split the two of them up. With they two up front, I think it maybe made a big difference. Surely.
Yeah, because
Period of
Coisty got injured before the Lyngby game, and then it was myself and Mark played against Lyngby up front.
You scored
Yeah.
at Lyngby.
Then he come back for the Leeds game. Coisty, but he was struggling with his calf. But he obviously scores the winner down there. But that Leeds United game, that's amazing. Now, a couple of
brilliant.
games, unbelievable.
The two goals in that were absolutely phenomenal.
Aye,
Well, Mark's just hit it out of nowhere. So I was in the Leeds end and we were sitting on our hands. So we were in a pub called the Cockerel before it. And they scored that goal and you're sitting there going, oh, what? And they had we'll talk about Marseille, they had an outstanding team. Gary McAllister, Gordon Stratton, you know,
God bless his soul. Gary Speed.
Gary Speed.
Aye.
I mean, Batty, the boy,
David Rocastle,
I
and
mean,
the famous one up front, Cantona.
Cantona,
you
and
know
Rod.
that.
Oh, I thought you were going to see Rod Wallace there.
Oh, Rod came on and hit the post.
That's right. aye.
The boy was married to Leslie Ash. What was his name?
Lee Chapman.
Lee
Big
Chapman.
Robocop.
But Andy Gorham in that game, you know, somebody show me a better performance, a better 90.
absolutely
But
frightening.
he was absolutely outstanding.
Aye.
Then
Always
at
did.
the game after that, you remember the game after that we played Leeds? Played Celtic Park, couldn't beat
Beating
them
1-0.
That's
That's right.
right.
Aye. You scored.
and we hadn't even trained after the game.
You scored, did you know? A couple of more questions before we finish. I see one there with Brandon Stewart. Good evening, troops. Hi, Brandon. Sean Murray. We've got
I've
that
done
one,
that
haven't
one,
we?
yeah.
Doing brilliant, lads. Big Ian, when you back on.
Big Ian's going to get a gig on here.
I know.
They're not asking me, Ian's
Hey.
coming on.
Hey, couple of quick ones. Saturday, what do you think?
Be fine. I know it's an early kick-off, but we'll go up there, and it's always a good surface at this time of year. And we'll go up there and we'll play away. I think after the other show the other night against PSV, I'm sure we'll be on the front foot and be looking forward to the PSV game. I don't envisage much changes. I think he's got to go with a settled team and look to that team to go and turn over PSV. I'll go for 2 or 3-0.
Ian?
The last few times we've played up there, so as I keep saying, go to watch B teams and not crack on about it. They've scored 13 goals for outside the box. If you watch the last few times we've went up there, it's Ryan Jack and Lundstrom hit the ball for outside the box. You know, just shoot on sight. Because see these games where they're packing the defence, somebody take a pop. It's the last 2 times we've went up there, there's guys scoring for outside the box. I think we'll be all right.
Lynsey?
I think we'll win. Definitely. I think we're on form now. I think we are.
I
I think
so
we've
myself.
learned our lesson for Kilmarnock. So.
Next Wednesday. Ian?
Well, same as last year, we said they were going to turn us around. We drew to each Ibrox.
Is it Wednesday night or Tuesday night?
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, if you play alternate now,
So
and,
it's
we're
right.
Wednesday. Now, as I said, we'll go there knowing that we can create problems for PSV. I don't think, I know middle to front, they're excellent. They're excellent. And so can we be. But defensively, I think they're a bit short. I think Rangers can catch them out if
Picked up a
they're,
few injuries.
if they're brave enough. And it'll take
a
a top team performance, but Rangers are capable of that with the players they've got.
Ian?
I think last season, Gio pulled a master stroke and he played Lundstrom as a sweeper. So every time their 2 wide players were cutting in, Lundstrom was there to sweep things up.
Played a great game.
He was outstanding that game. I think we're in a good position. I think we're in a good position because the longer the game goes on, their fans will start to turn on them like they did last year. And it's a very hostile place, especially for
stadium, by the way. We went for lunch in the stadium before the game. Oh, brilliant.
But I think their fans, they could turn on them the more. If the longer it stays equal.
Yeah, got to stay in the game.
We've got it all to play for, haven't we? We've got it all to play for.
You know what now?
They need to go for it.
What's the end of it? No, they'll have a game plan, now they stick to it. They've got more than enough ammunition to go and beat PSV.
Keep their work ethic up.
Of course, hard work. You get your rewards with hard work.
I think we'll do it.
Fingers crossed, Lynsey.
Right, well, that's us came to the end of the show. Thanks for joining us tonight on Follow Me Well Legends podcast. If you'd like to sponsor our podcast and appear in one of our next shows, please get in touch with myself or Stan. Also, remember to get involved, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our social media pages, Follow Me Well Legends podcast. Thank you to our guests tonight, Ian and Ian.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you both, and thanks for coming on and entertaining our viewers. It's been a fantastic podcast, so thanks very much for taking up your time and coming here to do our show for us. It's brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Ricky, thanks very much behind the scenes, getting your questions and stuff on as well. So we need to thank the podcast rooms for having us. And from all us here at Follow Me Well Legends podcast, good night and God bless.
Good night.
Good night.